Washington, AP, a federal judge in Washington is ordering the Trump administration to immediately return the White House press credentials of CNN reporter Jim Acosta. U.S. District Court Judge Timothy Kelly announced his decision Friday morning. CNN had asked that Acosta's credentials be returned while a lawsuit over their revocation goes forward. The network's chief White House correspondent has clashed repeatedly with Trump and Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders in briefings over the last 2 years. The White House pulled his credentials last week following a combative press conference in which he clashed with Trump. The White House's explanations for why it seized Acosta's credentials have shifted over the last week. Sanders initially said the revocation was because Acosta placed his hands on an aide who was attempting to take a microphone away from him. But witnesses did not support that characterization of the incident, and it was revealed that Sanders had distributed a doctored video that made Acosta's action appear more aggressive than it actually was. The White House then changed its story. On Tuesday, Sanders accused Acosta of being unprofessional by trying to dominate the questioning at the news conference. Trump has made his dislike of CNN clear since before he took office and continuing into his presidency. He's described the network as fake news, both on Twitter and in public comments. At last week's press conference, which followed the midterm elections, Trump was taking questions from reporters and called on Acosta, who asked about Trump's statements about a caravan of migrants making its way to the U.S.-Mexico border. After a terse exchange, Trump told Acosta, "That's enough," several times while calling on another reporter. Acosta attempted to ask another question about Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation and initially declined to give up a handheld microphone to a White House intern. Trump responded to Acosta by saying he wasn't concerned about the investigation, calling it a hoax, and then criticized Acosta, calling him a rude, terrible person. The White House pulled Acosta's credentials hours later. The judge, who is a Trump appointee, said the government could not say who initially decided to revoke Acosta's hard pass. The White House had spelled out its reasons for revoking his credentials in a tweet from White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders and in a statement after CNN filed its lawsuit. But the judge said those belated efforts were hardly sufficient to satisfy due process. The judge also found that Acosta suffered irreparable harm, dismissing the government's argument that CNN could just send other reporters to cover the White House. The judge told attorneys to file additional court papers in the case by Monday.